everyone, welcome back. Ow, I just hit my hand. I wonder if you can see my cat right here. Oh, look at him. Anyway, okay, so I finally finished a book, on this channel for the first time ever. Mercy, Tears of the Fallen by Chance Dillon. Now, I will say that Chance and I talked as I was reading this book, and him and I think are slowly becoming friends, and he is a lovely person, and I think that will that play into how I feel on the book? Will that give me a little bit of a biased opinion? I'm not sure. I mean, maybe, but I will say that I do have negatives on the book, but I do want to preface by saying that it's not like me reading another book where I have no idea about the author, or not no idea about the author, but I don't talk to the author myself. Do with that as you will. I started a reading journal, which I said in my weekly update, and that is kind of what I started doing as I was getting close to the end of this book. Now, there are a couple things I want to start off with and say that I feel like there were a couple times where I was wondering if I should put it down or if I would want to put it down if I wasn't on a timeline, and maybe it was the timeline itself that I had, and maybe it was also just the fact that I just got done putting down Ruin by John Gwynne, and that's not like a DNF forever, it's a goodbye for now, like we will see each other again, but I need a break from this style of art, this style of book. And I think there are some similarities. They're very, very different, but there are some similarities between the two. And so there were times where I thought about it, but at the end, I'm really glad that I did finish it and that I am going to be alpha reading his next book, because when the puzzle pieces just started all coming together, it was so satisfying, and it really did start ramping up. Like the last probably 100 to 75 pages, it really started ramping up and doing its thing. So I'm gonna try to go by category, so that I'm not jumping all over the place, but I cannot make any promises. And I will not be doing any spoilers unless you want to know absolutely nothing about the book, then I'm guessing you wouldn't be watching a review anyway. So, I will do my star rating at the end. So I'll go by world building first, and one of my subcategories in world building is the magic system. And one of the things I want to say about the magic system is that you learn as you go, and you need to be okay with that. He is not going to spell it out for you. There are going to be words that are going to be in capital, like a capital first letter, so you know that those words are important. Those are, I don't know the word for that type of word, but you know those things are going to be important. I would say go through and highlight it, or if you don't want to highlight your books, go through and tab it, so that you can go back and reference and see, oh, okay, this word is important, this word is important. This probably has something to do with the magic system, and just know that it's kind of like acquiring language. Like, you don't really know what's going on, but then it eventually clicks. So that's kind of what I use to describe that a little bit. The magic system is cool. It's really good. It's actually one of my things that I think is really, really intriguing in the book. And I think if he would have just spelled it all out for me, then I wouldn't have thought it was as intriguing or interesting, because I wouldn't be having to figure it out and put all the puzzle pieces together and, learn basically about what it is. And it doesn't feel like too scientific either. So there's no worries on that. It's not too complicated. It's just kind of an enigma. When you first start out, you're like, what the heck is a runestone? Like, that's one of the magic things is runestones. Like, what the heck do those do? And maybe it's me, because I know that he has influences from other fantasies. I haven't read Malazan. I haven't played Elden Ring. I played Skyrim, but, and I have played D&D, which I know is another kind of influence for him, is the tabletop games that he did, which I will get back into that. But I love that we're exploring a good amount of the world, and I know that there is still so much to explore and more species to meet. I like how, as we experience more of the world, we experience more of the lore, and the information doesn't feel like too much. I love that there are different species and lands and monsters and the kind of diversity between those, and that sometimes when he writes, I guess this goes into his writing as well, sometimes when he writes, he'll go, oh, it's this species or this person from this area, and they have this whatever skin, eyes, whatever, and he'll say their name in one sentence, but in the next sentence he'll say the Amranil or something like that, which is one of the peoples of his world. So I actually do enjoy that because it's a subtle way of like reminding me of where these people are from, even though I definitely don't remember, but that's just me. I have been having a hard time reading lately and focusing, and back to the kind of the beginning of the video when I was talking about how I thought about putting it down maybe or whatever. I don't think it's the book. I honestly think it's just me lately and how I've been really distracted with life. So that also kind of plays into how you feel about the books as the time in life that you read it in. And I think putting down Empire of Silence right after putting down Ruin and then reading Empire of Silence but putting it on pause to read Mercy, it was a lot of whiplash going on. So anyway, next I will go into the characters. And I will say the world building, I don't really have any notes on for like, oh, I wish this would have happened or this or whatever. I really enjoyed the world building, the magic, the species, everything. So, characters, he is so good at adding in little human moments of these characters. Like, say this person is looking at their mentor and they see something happen and they're like, oh my gosh, like I got to see this side of my mentor. Who else in the world has seen this side of him? Like, and kind of small ways they'll feel or things they'll say where you can see one of your friends saying that, or you could see yourself saying that or feeling that, and maybe it's an internal thought. But I like that because it makes it more real. Yeah, I just said many times I have stopped to take note of the small things characters say or do that make them feel real. I will say too, this goes into writing, but characters as well, is that there's a lot of nuance when it comes to the characters and the way that they're written and the forced perspective that you get of them in their lives, where you wouldn't say that they're morally gray. That's not the question at hand. The question at hand is who is actually good and who is actually bad, because of the way that he's telling the story and the things he tells you first versus the things he tells you second, and then the things he tells you in the middle. And it is like a little puzzle, honestly, like reading it, and I really do enjoy that. Pacing is, I think the pacing's fine. Like I said, I had some times where I thought, oh, is this too slow, or is it just me and how like I've just been reading really slow lately because of the things going on in my life. And honestly, after having some conversation with him and some other people, mainly what the other people had to say was, I don't feel like it was slow, I feel like it was intimate, and I think that was a great way to describe that. Or some people even thought it was too fast, and so I'm like, I really do think, honestly, it is just me and like how I'm reading right now. Then again, like slow isn't bad. I love a good slow book. Robin Hobb is a big slow burn person, and I love her writing. I love her style. Now, I also have themes on here, and there are a lot of internal struggle type themes that I really enjoy throughout the book. You know that in the back it does talk about Alavist and Alavist and his vengeance, and Eravane and his drinking problem, and those being some of the major themes of the book. And I don't want to get too into it, but I do want to say that he has handled those situations well. I think when it comes to addiction and things like that, with that being a subject that is close to my heart, and seeing the way he wrote Eravane and his struggle with it, and not only did other people not exactly see it, or maybe they did, and it's not, not everyone is talking about it, but we see Eravane and his struggle when something bad happens and he's like, man, I just wish I had a drink right now, or, he goes to reach for the flask a lot and things like that. And I do really enjoy that. Again, that's something that's back on the back of the book, is that it says Eravane drinks to forget. So it is clear that Erebane has a drinking problem from the back of the book. The one thing that I have the most problem with is some parts of the writing. And that's like my only negative, I think, is that my husband described it as an archaic sentence structure, which I was like, okay, that's fair. And I do think it is a personal taste thing. And I'm going to give a horrible example because I'm not a writer. He put on his boots, for he had very cold feet or something like that. And that sentence structure was used a ton in this book. And the time when I first saw it was in J.K. Rowling's books. I think it was the 3rd or 4th Harry Potter book where I had seen that sentence structure, and she used it a lot. And so it became kind of like a pet peeve of mine. So take that with a grain of salt, but know that it is written in there a lot. Again, love the nuance of how he wrote it. There are times when I felt very confused, and I wasn't the only one from who I spoke to about this. I said there were times where I was very confused about people's relation to each other. And I think, like I said, some of it is supposed to be nuanced. Some of it could be me. And some of it may just be that it was said in passing and then I just forgot. And I think Chance puts a lot of faith in his readers, which is good. I do like that. But that's why I had to message him and go, Chance, I need a family tree. Like, I don't know who was related to who. I thought one person was married to another person almost the entire book until he was like, no, they're not even married. That girl ain't even married. And I was like, wow, I was really lost. And like I said, again, that is probably me. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, like I said, at times I wondered if it was slow, if the pacing was slow, if the writing felt like, there was a slow moment. And Tom said it was intimate instead of slow. And what I really like that there are the calm, intimate moments, or maybe they're not exactly calm, but you're kind of learning about the ins and outs of the one person that you're in the perspective of. And it allows for the surprises to be even more surprising and the plot twist to be even more twisting, because of the feeling of you don't know when something is going to happen. And even if you do know something is going to happen, you don't know exactly when. So there are times where there is an intensity and this tenseness that he builds up. And he does that so well. But then there are also times where he has this calmness and will just throw out of nowhere a moment that you're like, oh my gosh, I did not see this coming. This is a plot twist. Like, it's very, very well written in that regard. Yeah, also, another one of the things that I loved was when some battle scenes with monsters specifically felt kind of like D&D-esque, and not in a way that he's being derivative of D&D, but in a way that he has taken inspiration and turned it into his own thing to make it interesting and fun and exciting. And that is how I felt about especially his battle scenes with the monsters in this book. If we can call them monsters, I think so. So yeah, I think that is my overall thoughts on Mercy, Tears of the Fallen. So what did I rate it? There were times when I was reading that I think about what I'm gonna rate it, and I hate that I do that because I don't mean to. I'm like, oh, maybe I'll rate this. Noelle, just stop, because just wait until you're done with the book. And I've had a day to sit on it, really. And at the end of the day, especially because of the ending, it's a 4.25. I think I was thinking about a 4, but I have gone to a 4.25. And I think that this is one of those books that would be even better on a reread because you know what is going on. And it also, the way that this book ends, you're ready to jump into the next one. Like, you're ready to know what happens. And even though I had this tiredness and fatigue maybe of fantasy a little bit, of certain types of fantasy, yeah, the fatigue went away by the end. It really did. And so 4.25. It's a great book, and that's a great rating. It's his first book ever, so it's not the most polished writing or prose, and I think that he's going to find that, and he's going to find it quickly. He is very open to constructive criticism and everything like that, so I am even more excited about the next book and to see how much he's honing his craft and making it even better than the last, because that's what you always want. You don't want to start out the best, because the only way to go from there is down. So, but yeah, he should be proud of what he made, and If you guys don't know, his book came out on July 20th, and his father did pass away. So if you pray, if you're religious, do say a prayer or so for Chance and his family. And I do think it was a beautiful thing for him to have released the book on the anniversary of his father's passing. So, all right, let me stop talking about that before I cry. So, sometimes I'm just emotional, so don't worry about it. Anyway, guys, let me know if you read it. Let me know if you want to read it. And yeah, I will talk to you guys in the comments. And yeah, God bless.